someone. The thought of being scared of losing something you have. It can sometimes come from trauma. It might come from your imagination running wild. You feel like you are in danger. You may tear up and cry from being uncomfortable or feeling that someone is watching you but no one is really there. Fear. Scared of losing something you have. That could even be trust. How many of you as adults have lost trust when you were younger? Do your children trust you? Can they come to you? I know when I was younger, I lost the trust of my parents. It was really hard. Through my experience as a teacher, building trust with my students has always been my #1 priority. And sometimes I don't get that trust till the end of the year, and then I have to let them go. With Wilbeck's homeroom class, I took sadness, their definition for sadness. Means when you feel like you're alone, depressed, or feeling like you can never stop crying even though you're trying so hard not to cry, or when you feel hurt. Wanting to stay away from people, avoiding human interaction, locking yourself in your room, feeling trapped and hurt, not knowing what to do, feeling disappointed in yourself is sadness. That one really gets to me. If our children are feeling disappointed in themselves, we as adults why aren't we supporting them? Why are we not lifting them up? What do we need to improve upon? So again, in order to have compassion, I'm very, very thankful that these students were open enough to talk about their emotions in what sometimes we see as an emotionless world. Because to have empathy, we need to face our emotions. We need to learn to control our emotions. Because with empathy, we can show compassion. We can show compassion to each other. Because then we can see when somebody's having a bad day by reading their facial expression, their body language. Because then we can see that we can care. And we can go and help that person possibly. And if we don't have those tools, we can reach out to another person who may have that tool. We need to get back to that. And I really saw a need with that. So how can we as adults help our future adults? We need to guide them. We also need to hold them, hug them, and love them. Getting back to COVID, let's take a look at the word O, the letter O, opportunity. Okay, here's where I start to rant, okay? You ready, kids? All right. So we had a really good discussion with opportunity. Your future is a high school, correct? You're going to have a lot of opportunities ahead of you. Some of you have made some pretty not good choices, especially this past year. But we can learn from those negative choices. Learn from your past. Don't make the same mistake. It's kind of like putting your hand on a stove. You get burned, right? You gonna do it again? No. How many of you eat a pizza and burn the roof of your mouth? Do you do that a lot? Yeah, but you don't learn from that, do you? But, you know the major mistakes, you need to learn from that, correct? You need to make healthy choices. You need to learn from that. You need to seek advice from the adults. We do know a thing or two. And like I've mentioned before, you know, we've made mistakes ourselves. We don't want to see you make the same mistakes. You might think that we're trying to control your lives and everything, but we're not. We just don't want you to go through the same troubles that we have. And some of us adults, we still struggle. We're still struggling with some of the problems that we have. And I know it's hard for you to see that at your age, that we adults are humans too. But you gotta give us a break. I'm just checking my time to make sure I'm not going over too much. All right. Try new things. All right? Like I was on that rope course on Friday with the patrols. You know, and I had quite a few kids that were saying, you can do this. Don't give up. That's what you need to be for each other. You can do this. Don't give up. You're almost there. You got this. You gotta stay positive. Give it all you got. Overcome your fears. Try new opportunities. Mr. Craig gave you a lot of good ideas for joining the musical, correct? Yes. Parents, caregivers, what can you do to support that? Guide them. But don't forget, hold them, hug them, love them. COVID, let's go to the letter V. Kids, value your self-worth. What's your self-worth? You kids need to value yourselves. You are special. Each and every one of you is so unique. I know I didn't get to spend much time with each and every one of you. Your words mean a lot. Your actions say a lot. And I know sometimes we adults may make promises that we can't keep, and I know that hurts. But you are valuable. You do mean a lot to your parents and to your family. And I'll tell you what, you mean a lot to each one of your teachers too. Your past, your present, and your future teachers. So the ones who are harping on you all the time, when they stop harping on you, that's when you begin to worry. And you know, we've talked to you about that. Parents, just spend a little bit more time maybe with them. Guide them. Hold them. Hug them. Love them. COVID. Let's look at the I. Independence. Let's talk about Schoology. You know this distance learning and, oh, I don't know how to use Schoology when we're distance learning, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some of you worked your parents, caregivers, correct? Oh, yeah. Some of you did. I told you I was going to throw you under the bus gently. Very gently, lovingly, respectfully. Okay? So, independence. To show you're independent, you got to be what? Responsible, right? But you also have to remember, too, you're getting older, and as a parent, it gets a little difficult to let go of that responsibility as a parent. So you gotta give your parents a little break too. Okay? Work with them. Don't get in their face too much. Talk to them. Don't pull the attitude. You know, you're in that limbo stage, right? You're not a kid. You're not an adult. You're a teenager, or soon to be. I won't say that word that you're going through. I won't say it. Okay, so, but you gotta earn their trust. You have to show respect. You have to show that you can do it by being responsible. All right? So, because your parents are going to guide you. And they will also hold you, hug you, and love you. And you can do that in return also. All right. COVID. What's the last letter? D. Decisions. Wow, you've got a lot of decisions to make, don't you? So now you're entering high school, correct? You're going to be at the bottom of the heap, so to speak, correct? Yes. So, self-aware. What kind of person are you going to want to be? That's up to you. We adults can talk till we're blue in the face, but the decision is whose? Yeah, it's totally yours. So, you need to decide what path you're going to take. What type of person are you going to be? We can give you the tools. You know there's a lot of stuff out there outside these walls. Remember, self-aware. Not only the person that you're interacting with, but all the people around you are also watching you. We all know that we don't know all your stories. You can continue on learning about empathy and compassion. Don't forget to be self-aware. And parents will continue to guide you and hold you and hug you and love you, even though you may think that they are not doing that. And my final comment to parents and caregivers, as my t-shirt says, tag, you're it. Love the teachers.
Hello, my name is Emmy Peterson, and I am a 6th grader at Roosevelt Elementary School. Most kids going into 6th grade are thinking, this is the year we are going to switch classes. This is the year we will have one teacher for each class. While we were thinking about that too, most of us were also thinking, are we going to be in class or distance learning? With the restrictions of COVID-19, many schools have had to shut down and go to distance learning. So it was still up in the air. Luckily, we were able to start the year in person. Although we did have to wear our masks and the teachers would come to us instead of us switching classes like normal, it was a struggle, but we would get mask breaks and we all worked together to make this year still amazing. For a while, we went all week, but we would still wear our masks. With social distancing, we could not do as many activities, and some events, like the Halloween party, were brought outside. Eventually, the COVID numbers began to rapidly rise, and we had to go to distance around the end of November. This was the most challenging time for me because everything was closed. Schools, sports, and stores. I couldn't socialize with my friends or family, and it was a bit different than last year. This year we would have to Zoom into our classes, and we would get updates through our iPads, which told us what assignments we had to do. One problem I faced was that my house would sometimes have spotty Wi-Fi. So I would have to hotspot a lot, and some kids didn't even have any Wi-Fi. You had to email. It was also hard because you couldn't just ask a question. You had to email, and sometimes your teacher would be busy and couldn't answer right away. The teachers tried their hardest to make it still fun by playing some games on Zooms, and on Wednesdays we wouldn't have to Zoom in. I FaceTimed my friends and family, and that made everything a lot easier. Eventually, everything started to open up, and we started to go 4 days a week, in person, excluding Wednesdays. The teachers started going more in depth with everything we were learning because we did miss a lot because of distance. It was fun to be back. I could see my friends, and it was a lot easier to ask questions. Then a couple weeks later, we were able to go back in person 5 days a week. We finally got some field trips going, like the Giants Ridge trip, the Edge trip, and the Patrol trip. It was all so much fun, and I was so excited we could still go with all the COVID-19 restrictions. This year has gone by so fast, and before we know it, we will be 7th graders. There are so many things to look forward to and to be excited for. We are excited to switch classes and be able to enjoy activities like sports and clubs. Also, this year Mrs. LeBeck started teaching us about empathy and compassion. I would say most of us can say we're nice, and would never be mean, but compassion takes action. Many times we sit around and wait for others to show compassion, like when someone is getting bullied. We sometimes stay out of it. However, we all need to take action. So to all my classmates and everybody who could join us today, compassion takes action. So let's show compassion together.
All right, so next we'll have a presentation of our 6th grade certificate, and we'll start with our remote class with Ms. Emily Pikey. And Stacy Halani is part of that class too.
All right, not all of our 6th grade distance learners are here today, so hello to those of you who are live streaming with us. The first distance learner to graduate this year is Madison Edwardson. Jocelyn Flanagan. Congratulations. Addison Golden.
Tegan Gustafson, who I hope is online with us today. Next is Kimberly Hoppola. Corbett Haney. Hannah Hartman. Next is Henry Heikola. The next few students are kids that, again, we hope are joining us on live stream today. Aiden Hemphill. Dustin Hipple. Jalen Howard. And Dustin Howard. Ava Johnson. Please come on down. All right, the next student is another one we hope is online with us today, Christine Crable. And our next in-person learner is Milo Kroll. One of our online students, who again we hope is joining us on live stream, is Quinn Peterson. And then next up is Ethan Pipkin. And again, hopefully he's online, Daytona Robbins. And finally, but last but not least, is Isabella Zoller. Congratulations, 6th grade distance learners.
Next we'll have Mr. Kramer's class.
Good morning and congratulations on having a junior high kid. Grand taste up. Haley Bennett. Hayden O'Shea. Logan Bremer. Michael Burns. Kaden Castellano. Hayden Dahl. Samantha Doherty. Michael F. DeField. Dr. Beckett Engel. Cassandra Griffith. Logan Hancock. Dawson Hetrick. Chopper Hoover. Lydia Hunet. Colton Johnson. Everett Knudsen. Kelsey Maloney. Haley Mott. Unique Nelson. Robert Beatty. Brent Patterson. Rowdy Sandus. Rain Smith. Keona Sweeney. Johnny Wesley. And Justice Wright.
Now we'll have Mr. Lawrence.
Hi, I'm Mr. Lawrence. I'm the 6th grade reading teacher here at the Roosevelt Elementary, and I'll be announcing my homerooms. 6th grade graduates. First up is going to be Xavier Anderson. Zaya Boyer.
What?
Jonathan Crane. Callista Erickson. Madison Peters. Parker Johnson. Hayden Classy. Lucy Knudsen. Alexa Kotnick. Sophia Lampa. Oakley Malakowski. Jace Manick. Avery Miller. Jack Mitchell. Put up, Jack. Put up, Jack. Thank you, sir. Chase Offset. Misha Osborne Young. Emmy Peterson. Wyatt Petrak. Finn Pluswick. Chloe Rockala. Elizabeth Smith. Donald Sundich. Brianna Surface. Tyrion Tollefson. Gideon Tomberlin. And Cameron Vanderlyn. Congratulations, Mr. Lawrence's 6th grade graduating class. Next up will be Mrs. Lavette Stoneman.
All right, here we go. Grayson Bennett. Nicholas Bennett. Chrissy Bockelman. Jaden Bray. Natalie Cota. Evan Hackley. Kaylee Hansen. Gavin Harley. Lindsay Kramer. Coulter Earls. Izzy Mesco. Chase Morrison. Mia Myrie. Trace Nichols. Myrna Norton. Noah Peterson. Griffin Rowan. Dalen Sandaker. Peyton Sandberg. Evelyn Silver. Zachary Soroniak. Connor Tweeton. Amaya Tweeton Erickson. Scott Wilren. And Emily Viney. And up next is Mr. Nagan's homeroom class.
All right, congratulations, Mr. Nagan's homeroom class. First up, we have Gage Ben. Danielle Corey. Adam Gibson. Clark Johnson. Mia Johnson. Ty June. Clay Genghis. Colton Lemke. Aiden Linseth. Katrina Lassing. Luis Manzanares. Anna O'Connell. Erica Pash. Amara Patterson. Eager Bernal. Delia Ray. Noah Richards. Carson Robinson. Madeline Roy. David Rusco. Ella Ruchaski. Kennedy Sadness. Haley Setla. Joseph Stickney. Nolan Filbar. And last but not present is Mason Webb. Congratulations, Mr. Reagan's class, and all sixth graders.
Next, we'd like to invite our Virginia High School principal, Lisa Perkovich, up to say a few words.
Good morning. It's a packed audience in here. As he said, I'm Lisa Perkovich. I'm the principal here at the high school. And just a couple short weeks ago, I was able to meet the sixth grade class for the very first time. And typically this isn't something that I would talk about today, but I thought it was important because it leads into the message that I want to give today. When the sixth graders come into this auditorium and learn a little bit about what seventh grade is all about, I never really know what to expect. Sometimes it is utter chaos, like think paper airplanes, kids dancing, everybody on electronic device chaos. And sometimes kids come in here legitimately shaking and they sit in their chairs and say 0 words. And we never really know which one to plan for. Except for this year, it was a little bit different. We got a little bit of both. And I really was excited about that because it says a lot about the class. The class is a mix of people that have exuberant personalities and a mix of people who might not even really want to leave the Roosevelt quite yet. But anyway you looked at it, parents, I want to take this opportunity to tell you that they were the most respectful group of sixth graders that I've seen come to that kind of end of year learn what a seventh grader is all about in my 6 years that I've been here. So I think they deserve a round of applause just for respect. You know, the other reason I like to be here today is because just like they're nervous, I was sitting over here on the side of the audience, and as the kids were about to come up, I'm hearing, oh man, what if I trip? Oh gosh, I'm nervous. You know what, folks? Every year I have to lead the graduation commencement, and I'm just as nervous. Not because I think I'm gonna trip, but my biggest fear is not pronouncing your name correctly in front of every person you've ever known. That's terrifying. And today I had to hear everybody's name so I can kind of jot down some phonetic words. I only get 6 more years to master this before you walk across this stage one more time. 6 years seems like forever. I know sitting in these chairs, 6 years seems like forever away. But it's not. It's gonna go by in a blink of a moment, especially for this class. Most of you already know this, but I wanted to remind you that this class is probably going to have the most eyes on them of any graduating class in the last 50 years. Why? Why? Because you're going to be the first freshman class at Rockridge High School. That means you're the first class to ever try the Career Academy High School from start to finish. And there's a lot of people in this community that want to know what that means. So when I started, I told you that you guys were super, super respectful. That's really important. That's more important than anything because you are going to be in the limelight. You are going to be in newspapers and on the 10 o'clock news. People are going to want to know what you think, but they only want to know what you think if you can do it respectfully. So I was really happy to hear that this is the class that's coming through. The other thing I wanted to share with you today is just kind of the excitement that we see with this class coming through. And you know, it goes with the respect, but it goes kind of with the excitement side. I told you that I could hear all these kiddos talking over here this morning. And Emmy, I'm gonna embarrass you just a little bit. Emmy, can you stand up one more time? I just saw over 100 kids go through, and over half of them were like, oh my goodness, wasn't her speech amazing? Again, another round of applause. Absolutely great job. Phenomenal. Public speaking is not not easy. It's not easy for a lot of people, and you truly have a gift. Please make sure you follow that. And your gifts are something that the Career Academy High School is all about trying to find. So when you're about to embark into 7th grade, and then of course into 9th grade into the Career Academy, why is that important? Why are we switching everything we've ever known about education? Isn't it good enough? We said good enough's not good enough. We want to be the best. And so you might sign up for the manufacturing, engineering, natural resources and go learn about being a DNR or go learn about working in the mines or anything in between. You might decide that you want to sign up for the Health and Human Services Academy and decide you want to learn about being a teacher or a doctor or a nurse or anything in between those. But I want to remind you that the mark of success of this Career Academy High School is not about how many people we can pump out in a certain academy. The goal is to make sure that every one of you 6th graders sitting down here graduate with a pretty good idea of what you want to do with your life. And so there's 2 ways that we're going to define success in the Career Academy. Number 1, you're going to take a whole bunch of classes in the same academy because you think that's where you want to be, and you go off after high school and you continue in that pathway. That's one way we'll define success. But many of you are going to explore that academy, and at the end of your senior year, you're going to say, well, I don't want to do that. And that's success too. It's not about getting it right the first time. It's about exploring it in high school and making sure that when you go out after high school, that you get it right the second time. When you make that decision about what you want to do. But as a reminder, it all goes back to that personality of the class. You need to stay respectful, like you have been. You need to stay excited. You need to continue to support each other. And you'll make it through, and you'll be the best. And you'll be a class that is never forgotten because of your role in changing education. One kind of final thought, just in preparation for 7th grade, as you start to move into where you're going next year, is really to make the best of your next 6 years. So I'm going to put a challenge out there to every kid, and more importantly to every parent and guardian that is sitting out here. Academics are important. They're very important. But being involved in your school and your community are more important. Yeah, you heard the school principal say that correctly. Being involved in your school and your community are more important. That's what defines you and defines a community. So my challenge out to you is that each and every one of you is involved in either a sport, a club activity, or some sort of volunteer project every season of the school year. So 1 in the fall, 1 in the winter, and 1 in the spring for the next 6 years. That's up to 18 different things that you can do. It will define who you are, it will define who our community is, and it won't hurt that it'll go on some scholarship applications and help you earn some money too along the way. But folks, your destiny is yours. I'm excited to see you back in the fall in August for our orientation, and I am super, super thrilled that you're going to be our next graduating class, the graduating class of 2027. Congratulations, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Sixth graders, here are a few final thoughts for you. You have finally made it to the end of your elementary school days. And I have had the pleasure of being with you since you were 3rd graders. In a few months, you'll be moving up to the high school. Your high school experience will be vastly different from your elementary experience. You're older, you have more skills, and you're a bit more worldly. How you approach your time in high school all depends upon your choices. Every one of you has the capability of making wise choices, and succeeding. I've watched you grow for 4 years and know you all have the potential within you to accomplish great things. Go out and be good humans. Adults, one final thought for you. If you would like to take your child home with you after this, you may do so. But please go back to their classroom and connect with their teachers so that they know you are taking your child home. Thank you.